and Sweden is attempting to develop what I guess is called herd immunity, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, versus many countries who desperately are trying to so-called flatten the curve. So tell us about that.
The virus had spread all over the world. It's completely impossible to lock this virus in again. So it's only a question of time until most of us has met this virus and got infected from it. And the question that every country is facing is how to handle this situation to protect the elderly people, the people with immune defects or a bad immune system, so they won't get seriously ill. Flatten the curve is what the Swedish state epidemiologist talk about in every time, every day he's on TV. The goal is to flatten the curve so that we have not more sick people, more people become sick in this disease every day than the healthcare system can handle. What I imagine is this virus continue to spread for a while. For how long time is impossible to say, since we don't know how many of us that has been infected without really realizing it.
Right.
But either a few months or a few years. During this time, we will try to protect the elderly people and keep them protected until there is a vaccine. Start with giving the vaccine to the elderly and the immunocompromised, and then probably to everyone else of us. But it's that depends a little bit on how the virus, we will see that the virus behave when it continue to circulate. If it will be necessary to have a vaccine program for everyone, or if it's enough to do as with the influenza, to vaccine the elderly and immunocompromised.
Okay, this is another hypothetical question, but let's say 2-3 months from now, do you think that because Sweden has practiced a certain type of I'm not going to say herd immunity because that didn't work, but a certain type of openness, let's say, that they might be better off 3 months from now than countries that have closed themselves off? And now, what do you think will happen when countries like that start to open up more as they open up their economy? Will they face a strong second wave of deaths, do you think?
But I think those countries that not only made a lockdown, but also pressed down the number of new infections, such as countries in East Asia, there I am sure they will face a second wave. And they will come into a situation where the number of infected goes up, down, up, down, up, down. And that will be much more challenging for the healthcare system than countries that has tried to have the number of infected in a more or less constant level.
But I think there'll be a blame game in other countries as well, because the economies are in ruin, where people will say, look, Sweden didn't do too badly. Why didn't we do what Sweden did? I mean, I think there'll be that inverse blame game, because it's already starting, certainly in the United States, and there's starting to be a motion here of how much of a lockdown do we need? Could it be more specific, like what Sweden? Yeah.
I mean, I think that as long as a country can hold the number of new cases low enough for the healthcare system to continue to work, and don't get a situation where you have the capacity of the healthcare system here and the number of infected going like this.
Right.
Then I think all countries will in the end come out approximately equal when you talk about death toll. But depending on how hard you have made this lockdown, because opinion, I think it has been a wise decision. I think other countries will come out worse, because the question of economy is also a question of health and death.
Mhm.